A very good morning to Kenyan citizens and welcome back. This is Beyond the Headlines, where we go deeper and unpack what really matters to you, our country, and what shapes our future as a country. And I'm back with Mr. Kimotho. Welcome back.
Yeah.
And he is a studio political analyst. Yeah, so we'll be conversing with him on key details that is matters to do with the education sector, and then we'll be checking out a little bit of politics. And now let's start with the education sector because it has been on the spotlight since December, and now I think the whole of January we'll be talking about the education sector, and especially we want to talk about that is the CBC transition and the junior secondary. And the question is this: with everything that has been happening in the CBC system and also the junior secondary, can you say, is Kenya fully prepared for the JSA, that is for the junior secondary transitioning?
Maybe I can start with some of the comments ambayo ninaona hapa from Kupet official, that is Opolo, that is Akopolo. We cannot implement a curriculum using guesswork. Even though teachers have been trained on what is going to be taught, the curriculum is not yet in schools. So if we can start now on that angle, because unajua now this institution is as education.
Yes.
Let us admit that the new curriculum is new to each and everyone.
It's being tested, you know.
Yes, saizi inapitia zile the test trials ambazo ziko pale. It is new to the government. Hata tushinde tukiuliza the CS maswali mingi. Hata yeye mwenyewe ni venye haizi sema, haielewi. Haya, the PS ukisikia vile ambavyo wanasema hawaelewi, walimu pia at the same time, everybody else, saizi kila mtu wako confused. So the only thing that they can do is to minimize the challenges ambazo ziko pale. Because wale ambao sasa wengine nao watafanya nao sasa this year na wakiingia next year, at least yao itakuwa better because tutakuwa melan kwa wale ambao wamepitia saa hiyo. So ukiangalia kama saizi ambao sasa wazazi wanapitia hii maneno, hakuna mtu anaweza uliza. So they are learning now the hard way. Everyone else is learning now the hard way. These are some of the challenges that comes whenever we have any change ambayo inakuja. Because now this is a change now from the 844 system now to the CBA, that is a new curriculum ambayo iko pale. Imekuwa that is ikiangaliwa, imekuwa ikiwa that is ikiangalia the initial stages ambazo vile ambavyo zimekuwa zikifanyika. There is a lot of challenges ambazo ziko nayo saizi. Na pia at the same time unajua nao kutoka last year kulikuwa na yale maneno ambayo yalikuwa pale. Nao wakati nao that is watoto walifanya mtihani since December after announcement that is the results ambazo zilitoka ama the points ambazo watoto wamekuwa nazo, kumekuwa na ile challenges ambayo imekuwa ikikumbana nao na from the Ministry of Education. Yes.
And I feel before the government introduces something new, they could have started the parents by doing that is public civic education, but they have not done. Can you say they failed at some point?
Kumekuwa na issue of public participation. And I would suggest that even the concerned persons, especially from the county assemblies and also from the members of the National Assembly, waende wajadili na come up with how public participation should be done. Because if we politicize some of the ways, formulas of public participation, when it comes now to the matters of education, inakuwa ni challenge. Because tumekuwa tukiona public participation vile ambavyo inakuwa vikifanywa tu hivyo. Kujeni mpitishe, itafanyika, but the real stakeholders ambao wanafaa kwa pale hawajapitishwa, that is the right, that is hawajapata the correct, that is information. Because the public participation was done, but were the parents taken through that process?
The process itself.
Did we see that is the ministry being nini wakileta that is wale expert wa mashule kufanya transition? Si mara moja, inafaa ikue that is a continuous. Kwa sababu the more huyu mzazi, kama for example wakati kuna ile grade 6 wangeanza sasa kwa ile transition bado kumuelimisha. So tuliona hii yote ikifanyika last year, that is sasa the expert wanakuja that is kufunza wazazi, na at the same time the same year ndio wazazi wanategemewa that is even to do the selection, even how understand kwa that is the education, the pathways, the STEM and everything else pale ilikuwa so much confusing. So the matter of a public participation should be well defined. How should we go about it? Ni nini ambayo inafaa kufanyika? So that the way we do politics politics in other things ikuwe different na the way now we deal especially na mambo ya education.
Trust me, wazazi wanaumia huku nje. Some of them are just doing it because wamesikia watu wanashona uniform mpya, but literally they don't understand what is happening. And still as the transitioning is happening, can you say that the schools have enough infrastructure? Because tulikuwa tunaona that is the CSO education alikuwa anasema they have released that is finances to the schools that had given out the data. But can you say that why are they doing right now Russia the last minute while they had the whole of December to do it? And bado nimeona that is today there's a report that has been released, no, that is bank loans for school. Now ukiangalia most of the schools, the reason as why they take loans is because the capitation that they have been given, it's not enough. What can you say about that?
The issue now of a lack of enough infrastructure, we should entirely blame it on the Minister of Education. Because we start from the record. What data do we have? Last year tuliona that is wakiongelea mambo ya ghost schools, wakisema mambo ya submissions of the schools, they have not submitted their correct data to the ministry itself. First of all, tuko na that is a sub-county directors of education ambao wako pale ground. They know the number of schools within their sub-counties all over the nations. So it means that the issue of data collection ni kitu ambayo inafaa ifanyike.
It's true.
Because now the issue now pia ya placement, it comes now from the data ambayo wame collect. So how did they place the according now to the number of students if they are claiming that they don't have the right data to do it? That's why confusion inaingilia hapa, because the total number wa wale watoto ambao walifanya that is the grade 9 student inafaa pia inakuwa conjoin na the data ambao walitafuta pale. So if kuna issue na the data ambao wali collect, the same issue ndiyo ambayo ina affect wazazi saizi. So it is now upon them kuweza correct this data, because saizi inasemekana the system ndiyo ina place watoto shule. So in order now for that school ijulikane ya kwamba iko na haina enough capacity, lazima wakuwe walikuwa na the data before. Lazima wajue at the same time kama huyu mtoto, because kama saizi kuna a lot of complaints. Unaona mtoto that is a Methodist school ambayo iko outside even the county. So how do you expect that is a mtoto aende day school, a different environment, especially even a different county ambayo. So it means that kuna issue na mambo ya data ambayo maybe ilikuwa na shida pale, kwa sababu unajua the same information inatoka hapa inaingia pale. So the Ministry of Education should come out and na pia wanafaa watengeneze all these that is a systems, all these the operations ambayo yanaendelea ndio ikuwe harmonized collectively.
And on what we have said, probably that's why we saw that Rigathi Gachagua was questioning that matters to do with placement, and alikuwa anauliza why are students in the Mount Kenya region placed out of Mount Kenya, the same thing. So you can say really truly people are confused, but I hope the government could do something. And to connect what you have said with placement, so that is this week still on matters to do with education, that is the CBC transitioning, and also the junior secondary schools. Some of the parents some of the people are saying that is on social media, and also ilikuwa kwa the Daily Nation that for your child to secure a certain school, a slot in a certain school, some of the parents were demanded to pay up to 350,000. You're demanded to pay 50,000 for your child to be placed in a certain kind of school. So can you say this is going to affect the system, and also it could bring public mistrust, and people could start viewing this system as a corrupt one?
Okay, I don't know about those claims, but maybe we can start now from the political view of it. The former deputy presidents should be also cautious with how he politicizes certain issues. Because trying now to say that some of the Mount Kenya, that is people, some students, the issue of placement and everything else, something about that is he should actually now try to see how I'm cautious with how he placed the words together. Because unajua now hii issue ime affect each and every person. Ukiangalia pale from Mandera, ukiangalia pale from that is Siaya, ukiangalia, so and him being a national that is a figure, he should now speak now on a national that is issues ambazo zina affect pale, because if hata ukiangalia from all these newspapers the whole of this week, it doesn't talk about one region. Inaongelea from Mombasa, Kilifi, Vihiga and all those regions ambazo ziko pale. So at least now maybe kama angecompose aseme now from the parents are crying nationwide due now to placement, ingekuwa mzuri, so that now pia isionekane ni kana kwamba one area ndio inafaa iende, because it's kind of saying that certain school they suppose inafaa ikuwe na watu fulani from this region ndio wanafaa fanya nini. So hiyo issue pia wanafaa that is iwache kufanya, that is when it comes now to the issue of politics, pia za kuangalia vizuri. Now the issue of claims of that is some head teachers and everything else, it is the system ndio ilikuwa inafanya hii mambo. Actually sometimes unaenda hadi kwa hiyo shule anakuambia now it is not upon us, it is now upon the ministry, because it is well scheduled now to the ministry.
And we talk about the system, who are we talking about? Because they are blaming the system. Kila mtu anasema system.
The system now itself is from the Ministry of Education, because mambo yote yanaenda pale ndio inakuwa scheduled, inarudishwa pale. Although at the same time we all know our nation how things they go well. Maybe we don't know, maybe ni up front ya school fees pengine waliweza kuitishwa for commitment, because sometimes ukiona mtu anakimbia haraka pia na yeye lazima afanye some certain commitment, maybe ni ya school fees maybe ambayo ilikuwa pale, but kuna all these things ambazo zimekuwa that is zikiendelea pale. But the fact remains is that there is a challenge when it comes now to the issue of placement of grade 10 students. Na pia hii challenge may affect that is the parents, and also at the same time, because ukiangalia sasa kama hapa that is a James Omondi ambaye anasema msichana wake alikuwa na 72 points na msichana wake akakuwa placed in extra county schools. Na extra county schools ni C2, so inamaanisha hizi points that is huyu angefaa apelekwe shule ya C1. So hii transfer akifanya anakuta ya kwamba C1 zimejaa. So that's what tunaongelea mambo ya the data, because the Minister of Education ingekuwa na the correct data ijue vile ambavyo itafanya. Then the other issue of pia ya the ministry kusema ya kwamba hawana enough infrastructure. Last year tulikuwa na form 1s. So it means that all the secondary schools walikuwa rely that is without a certain that is hiyo section moja. So meaning ya kwamba kuna ile data wange collect wajue certain school inafaa ikuwe hivi, so inamaanisha kwa sababu kuna ile pengo ambayo ilikuwa pale. So this is some of the things about that is wanafaa that is iangaliwe na nafaa that is ikuje pamoja, because the same thing if they have a wrong data kutakuwa na the issue of placement, na at the same time kutakuwa na the issue pia of capitation ambayo pia inategemea now to the same school, because pia these schools inategemea also the government to come hand in hand, especially the new curriculum, because iko na so much demand ambazo zinaambatana naye.
And still tuliona on that is matters to do with the education sector, and that is specifically matters to do with the placement of the TSC teachers. This week the Daily Nation released a report that is they called it a TSC jobs grade 10 slots scandal, and it is a criminal probe that was underway following complaints of jobless teachers paid hefty bribes hoping to secure employment by the TSC commission, but were left clutching fake hiring letters. And now the authorities are now grappling with the latest scandal. So can you say that the government really need to do enough? Because our president has been saying that it targets to employ over 200,000 teachers, and this year the target year 2025 it was 72,000, but apparently they were able to employ that is 56,000. Can you say that could be the reason as to why tunaona watu wanakimbilia these matters to do with the fake jobs without knowing they are fake, and also getting tempted to pay so that they can secure something for themselves?
If there is one institution ambayo for so many years tumekaa bila kusikia mambo ya fake application letters, the institution of TSC. It is one of the institution ambayo that is due now to their own mechanism, wamejaribu kuihandle vizuri. Of late ndio tumekuwa tukisikia kumekuwa na hizo issues, because TSC ndio imekuwa ikifuatilia, imekuwa na mpangilio fulani. the qualified teachers after graduation wana apply for the TSC. The TSC wanafanya verification ya the documents of that teacher ambaye may apply, then from there wanangoje. So kumekuwa na this systematic way of doing things. That's why now we are saying if kumekuwa na issue ambayo imekuwa pale, it is something that can be handled now with the people in charge pale, because if kama kumekuwa na the fake letters ambazo zimekuwa zikitoka pale, the counted number of people ambao wako na hizo claims ni kitu ambao wanaweza resolve. Then at the same time pia kulingana na the government direction ambao walikuwa wamesema the number of teachers to employ, it is something also they can be able to do gradually, na ni kitu ambayo inaweza kuweko pale, because ukiangalia kama kuna after walimu wengi wakimaliza masomo, wengi wanajitafutia kazi kwa the private institutions as they await now for the placement now from the TSC ambayo inakuwa pale. So this is something that they can be able now to handle, na ni kitu ambayo hata haifai hata kutokea vile ambavyo imetokea, na ni kitu ambayo pia kulingana na the government ama the ministry direction ambayo wamepeana, it is something that can be seen, na ni kitu ambayo imekuwa ikiendelea systematically. So those officials that are in charge of the TSC, let them not corrupt the process ambayo imekuwa pale. Wanafaa waipatie nguvu, because tumekuwa tukiona TSC imekuwa na very good way systematically doing things. So wakati tunasikia maneno kama haya yanaendelea, it means that maybe kuna some few individuals pale ambao maybe hawajaelewa ama hatujui nini inaendelea, but it's something that can be handled, especially right now wakati now kuna the new curriculum. I think now it is high time that more teachers are needed. I don't know how to curb the gap that has been there in the Ministry of Education. Because
we can say that if there is corruption in the TSC system, it means it can also affect, probably it can affect the quality of the education, because unapata the teachers who are not qualified pia wanakuwa employed. Can you say that?
You see, corruption, hata tusipoitag na one that is a ministry, corruption ni kitu ambayo itatu affect. Because wakati kuna corruption that is a corruption imeingia to the TSC placement, huyu mwalimu ako under qualified. Akiwa under qualified inamaanisha ile masomo ambayo atapatia wale watoto ambao watakuwa pale itakuwa ni masomo ambayo haifai. So it means that hawa watoto wakati watafanywa testing na during the examination period, kutakuwa na challenges ambazo ziko pale. Then if the same thing can happen after huyu mtoto amemaliza haya masomo, then corruption ifanyike wakati pengine nayo anaenda pale to the other sector. You can imagine pia kuwe na corruption pale, huyu amefanya makaratasi nini tena ameenda sasa amekuwa daktari. So you can imagine the damage. Ama amefanya corruption ameenda amekuwa engineer mahali ya kampuni fulani. You can imagine the damage. Ama amefanya corruption kidogo ameenda amekuwa pengine hata pilot ama mambo yale mengine. So you can imagine now the scenario ambayo inaweza fanyika. So it's something that needs to be curbed. Kama kuna issue kama hiyo kwa TSC, ni kitu ambayo inafaa iangaliwe na that is address vizuri, because it is a damage ambayo itakuja kuto affect in future.
That's true. And let's put a pen on matters to do with education, and now let's take out a little bit of politics, because politicians each and every day they have something for us. And politics, tutangalia that is matters to do with the regional politics. Tutangalia that is the ODM sector and a little bit of the UDA. But let me start with the broad-based government. Specifically, tutangalia that is the KANU party. I don't know if we can go with that in the same way. When the deal is too good, think twice. Because the report was released that is this week by the Daily Nation, and it's a question was being asked, betrayal. And they are asking if it is a betrayal, because you know that is Gideon Moi. He joined that is the Kenya Kwanza government, and he left his senatorial seat for Baringo County, and there was a pact for him which entailed state jobs for his people, 3 billion debts that the government owned, nearly the government owes to the companies linked to Moi should be paid, and also now the Baringo race, so that the president can get influence there. But now all of that has not happened. Now what can we say about this, because haizi toka rudi tena?
Actually we need also now to gauge ourselves, and also at the same time we also need also now to see ambao wamekuwa pale, what have they been doing. It's very unfortunate that after that is mambo ambayo yalikumba that is the former prime minister, that is when now watu wanaanza ku pick some of the issues ambazo zilikuwa pale. Because ni vizuri kuwa na msimamo. Despite of the situation, despite of everything else, it's always good to have that stand. At the same time, it's always good to have to do consultation before fanya mambo yale mengine. Because after tuliona that is wamekutana na waka agree, kumekuwa kulikuja nao the other that is members from the KANU party ambao nao pia wengi walijidistance themselves from there. And this is the organ ambayo that is Gideon Moi amehold. So it shows you that kuna kitu ambayo maybe hawa wawili ndio wanajua, maybe kuna the time frame, the implementation na mambo yale mengine ambayo yamekuwa pale. Then at the same time politics, wakati unaambilio kitu nafaa ujiulize maswali mengi sana. Kama hujapata saa hiyo na nikwambilio umeambiliwa, ni kitu ambayo unafaa iangalie kwa uangalifu sana. So ndio naona that is finally kuna ile shake up ambayo imekuwa pale, because there is always that hit ambayo inatokana from the support system ambayo unaambatana nayo.
And now, you know, my question remains to be, must I be part of the government so that my people can benefit? Mchezo anipe nikupe. Is that how a country right now runs or is governed?
It all depends on the aspect that una agree. Is it a personal aspect, family aspect, is it a political aspect? Yes.
Okay. And now I know the question itende kwa wananchi, the aspect between loyalty and development.
Yes.
What are their leaders choosing?
Yes.
2027 is coming.
Yes.
And still, let's check out matters to do with battle for regions and political influence, because we have seen many political figures and people are rising because unajua tuko ile season ya campaign, and probably can help us understand briefly why are some regions becoming the central in Kenyan politics again? Why?
One of the segment in our nation, regions imekuwa part of it.
Yeah.
There are so many other factors ambazo imekuwa pale economically. That is an issue to do also tribal pia bado inaingilia in our politics in kulingana na tumekuwa tukiona. Now kuna issue of regions. Now the issue of regions tumekuwa tukiona wengi wanataka kuwa Mount Kenya kingpin. Coastal region pia tumeona the same time. South Rift tumekuwa tukiona. Nyanza nao imekuwa na shake up because now their voice alikuwa that is the former prime minister the late. Pia tumekuwa tukiona that is a western. Pia tumekuwa tukiona pia nayo wakikuwa na yale maneno ambayo yamekuwa yako pale. Na ukiangalia the reason as to why, kwa sababu kitambo kulikuwa na hizi that is regions ambazo zilikuwa pale, ambazo zilikuwa Rift Valley nini hizo zote. So hiyo politics bado haijakwisha. And that's why ukiangalia now the generation ya that is ambao walipatana na hizo politics ndizo bado wanaendelea nazo. And these are some of the things that we cannot get away with them from right now. Because ukiangalia now from kama saizi mambo ya western ndio iko juu saizi. Kuna hata zile polls ambazo zilikuwa zimetolewa pale na zinaonyesha that is a governor Natembea ndio the most influential. Tumekuwa pale na Musalia Mudavadi, tumekuwa that is na Moses that is Wetangula, pia the late Jirongo pia alikuwa anatoka that is pia from that area. Pia the same time tuko na Cleophas Malala, pia tayari ametoka from that area. Na wale wengine ambao wamekuwa wako pale pia tuko na Wycliffe Oparanya, that is pia tuko na that is Wamalwa pia ametoka from that region. So ukiangalia pia kuna ile cluster from that area. Pia ukikuja mambo ya Mount Kenya pia nakuta that is the former deputy president anataka that is kuna ile mambo ya kingpin wa Mount Kenya. Kumekuwa na maneno na jina lingine pia ya Deni Nyoro pia limekuwa likitokeza pale. Kuna others pia wengine wamekuwa kijitokeza kama Gathoni wa Mushomba. Na at the same time pia that is ukiangalia nao kuna ile aspect now of political that is history ambayo tumekuwa nayo. Jina la that is the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta inatokea pale. Ukikuja na upande mwingine pia the coastal region unakuta bado tuko na Joho yuko pale, kuna other governors ambao wako pale na other pia watu ambao pia wanatokana from that region. Na pia tukienda pia kule upande wa Nyanza saizi bado sasa kuna ile sheka ambao that is imekuwa that is ikitokea pale. Tunaona that is Uburu pia yuko pale, kuna Orengo yuko pale, Anyang' Nyong'o yuko pale, Gladys Awanga yuko pale na baadhi ya wengine pia wako pale. So the issue of politics na region it is something ambayo pia ina affect some of the political alignment in certain areas.
And in few seconds, because our time is up, what can you say, is regional politics helping, dividing, is it helping our country or dividing our country briefly?
Definitely iko both, depending now with the aspect ambayo tuko nayo, because it is dividing ourselves, because ukiangalia those regions kuna aspect pia ya tribe ambayo inaingilia pale, because the region themselves vile zimekuwa structured na certain dominance of a certain tribe in those regions. So utakuta nao pia wataanza kusema that is this community huyu ndio mtu wetu, this community huyu ndio mtu wetu. So na pia wanafaa julize ambao si wa hizo community wataenda wapi, watafanya nini, how their voices ambayo itakuwa heard. Then at the same time also on the other aspect of development, unakuta kuna the other aspect pia wanajaribu pia na kuvuta upande wao. Wanasema kama sasa tumekuwa tukiona that is kuna zile projects zimekuwa zikienda upande wa Nyanza, after now the broad based government imekuwa ikiingilia pale. Kuna zile project tumekuwa tukiona zikienda South Rift, because now the dominance of the presidency inatoka upande yule. The other regime tulikuwa tumeona pia the same thing from another region of that is Mount Kenya. So another thing, kwa sababu pia tuko na that is prime cabinet secretary na pia the speaker of the National Assembly, so utakuta kuna other aspect ambazo zinaendelea, development aspect ambazo zinaendelea pale. So unakuta pia at the same time kuna some positivity behind it, but the aspect now of political influence, unakuta hii inakuwa aligned na the issue of tribal. Ndio unaona sasa inakuwa na maneno ambayo yako pale.
All right. Yes. So let's put a fin on the conversation. I know there is more we could discuss about it.
Yeah.
We have something to tell our viewers as we wind up.
Just first of all to thank our viewers, especially kwa vile wamekuwa na sisi in this program, especially that is last year. Nashukuru sana for your views and your comment, and also at the same time as we are now on the that is a political year, let us to work our mind together. At the same time we open up our ears, and also let us have that humble conversation together, so that now before we make a decision ikuwe ni kitu ambayo itatusaidia. Thank you so much.
And as you have seen today, from the conversation that you have heard today in studio, the story often lies beneath the surface, and the issues affect that is our classrooms, that is households, and the direction of our democracy. And that's why we must keep asking the hard questions and always look beyond the headlines. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Angela Kabete. Till next time, God bless you abundantly. Bye-bye.